Hi guys, Arjun here, and you're back with the fruit plant. So tomorrow, of course, is Good Friday, so we'll be making a Good Friday inspired recipe. So most of you will know that most people around the world tend to go for fish as their Good Friday food. But what you may not know is in some parts of the world, like Solange in France for example, they actually eat things like lentils instead. So they eat lentils as a sort of representation of washing away one's sins. So something interesting to look into, especially because of course lentils is vegan and fish of course isn't. So today we're going to be making a lentil dish, but I'm going to shape it in the shape of a fish, so we've got a whole Good Friday thing going. But let's get started. Okay, start with a pan of water on the stove and put in 2 cups of French style lentils. Alright, just cover that and leave it to boil on a medium-high heat for 20 minutes. Okay, now to make the pastry. So I've got 2 cups of plain flour in there. So add in half a teaspoon of salt and 2/3 of a cup of coconut oil. Now make sure your coconut oil looks like this, in this form. It's quite thick. To get it into that form, if yours is runny, just put yours in the fridge and you can do it. So 2/3 of a cup of that. Put that in. Okay, now just mix that. Okay, that's about it. Okay, now add in 3 tablespoons of cold water and just mix that to a dough. Okay, so of course you can do the rest by hand, just to squeeze it together into a ball. Okay, so there's our pastry. So you can just leave that aside for a second. Okay, while we wait for the lentils to cook, we'll make the ragi mixture. So start with 2 cups of water and add to that 1 cup of ragi flour. And just continue to stir that on a medium-high heat for 15 minutes. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and it's pretty much finished. So we'll stop there for that one. It may take a little longer, just depending on what heat you've got your stove on, but like I said, medium-high heat, and 15 minutes, or of course in this case just 10 minutes, and you should be... Okay, so that's been 20 minutes for those lentils. So what you want to do now is just drain the water out of them. Okay, for the spice we've got 2/3 of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of dried rosemary, half a teaspoon of coriander powder, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. So just put that in. And add the lentils to that as well. Okay, and just mix it up. Okay, that's what it looks like, mixed up. So now we'll put it all together. Okay, so put your pastry on a floured board and just roll it out flat. Now just scoop the mixture onto the middle. Now with the amount of pastry you've made, you probably only need about half the mixture, so you can make another batch of pastry and make another amount, or use the rest of the mixture for something else. Yeah, that should be it. So just smooth that out in sort of like a fish shape. Alright. Okay, take a pastry brush and just brush the pastry with water. Okay, and now just fold it over. Cool, so before we start shaping, first seal it all up. Okay, if that's all sealed, just flip it over so you've got a smooth side to work with. And just shape this into your fish shape. Come across any holes or anything, you can just patch them up. Bit of pastry. So now just take a knife and score out any patterns you want. Okay, now just get it onto the baking tray. Just lift it on. Okay. Brush the whole thing with a lot of rice bran oil. Okay, and dust the whole top with some salt and pepper. Okay, and cook that in your 200-degree oven for about 20 minutes. So like I said, we only really use about half the mixture for this recipe. The reason is you can't really make less than about a cup of ragi, otherwise it's difficult to work with. So with this extra mixture, a few ideas for you. You could either use it as a pie filling like we've just done, or you could just shape it into hamburger shapes and cook them as hamburgers like I've done in one of my previous videos. So it's up to you really. So there it is finished. I figured I'd show you before we cut it up. So it's finished cooking and that's what it looks like. So that's finished. There it is, as you can see. So it's come out a lot like a sort of like a sausage roll really. So you might want to put some sauce with it or whatever you like to eat. But other than that, that's it. So enjoy.